promote positive learning environments for children from diverse backgrounds. We would like to recognize BZ Thompson and Minar Basir as our school psychologists for Radford City Schools, and I think they have a treat coming from Mr. Hill. I don't want to give anything away, but we want to take just a moment to recognize the hard work that they do. A lot of it is unheralded, but we at the school division, at the central office level, know what kind of work they do day in and day out. So we appreciate them on this their week nationally. Okay?
Excellent.
And that is all I have.
All righty. Thank you. All right, moving on to our consent items. We have our minutes from last month and our superintendent's authority to appoint personnel in between the meetings. We have our bills and petty cash reports, field trip requests and student activities, and use of facilities. We've got 2 more in our packets that came in.
Yeah, we had some late arrivals.
Yep.
Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, sounds great. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks so much. I don't think we had anybody sign up for commenting tonight.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to the report of the superintendent.
So it only seems like yesterday that we approved a budget. So it really does. But it's that time of year again where we'll start thinking about budget items and request items and putting a nice little package together for when Richmond does their thing, we're ready. And our public hearing is scheduled for the December 10th meeting. We would piggyback on the regularly scheduled school board meeting. Is now when we want to talk about that?
Why not?
So do we want to move the meeting? Because it conflicts with the Christmas parade. And that's the last thing we want to do is conflict with the Christmas parade. Or any parade.
Any parade.
Or any event.
So,
There are some options, you know, a different day. But I'll leave it up to the board to decide if the 9th will not work, but it's a choir
That's
concert. The 10th is generally a day we try to stay away from. Wednesday is what we try to stay away from.
yeah. So how about December 12th? Does that work
That
for
works
us?
for
Does
me.
that work for our? That's a Thursday. Does that work?
I don't know of anything that would prevent us from moving it to the 12th with advance notice, correct, Ms. Long? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Still the same time at 6 p.m.?
That would also be your call.
Yeah. Does that work for us?
Okay?
Okay. All right.
Does that need to be in a motion? Okay, we've just decided.
Just decided, so
So,
make sure that's advertised to everybody.
It will be the regular school board meeting as well as the public hearing for the budget, correct?
Yes.
all right. Thank you for that. Next up, we'll go through our monthly reports, starting with the enrollment report. Mr. Howard will bring that up and there we go. Thank you very much. Give you just a minute to look over those numbers. Okay, thank you. Let's move along if there are no questions.
Looks good.
Attendance report next.
Yes, sir. So for October 2024, you heard just a little bit of this earlier. Our numbers continue to look really well. I think there was a dispute between the high school and Bell Heath over some sort of trophy. And I think that Mr. Simpson he's smiling. He must have took the trophy from Mr. Wilder. In fact, I know he did. I think there's pictures. Here's a breakdown of the way attendance is going with Miss Gerald. She's very busy. She's working very hard, but it's paying off. It's something that we can see every day at each school, so we appreciate her hard work. Okay. There we go. Well, this is Mr. Keister. He was celebrating attendance winners in Miss Martin's class. He didn't take as much slime as Mr. Wilder did. I think he helped build the slime. There's Mr., oh, okay, there's before Mr. Wilder, and then there's after. He got pumpkin slime, pumpkin guts for all their efforts in attendance at Bell Heath. Still managed to smile. There's the
There
picture
it
I was
is.
talking about. Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's funny. Is that trophy on display in the high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good deal. All right, very nice. And you know, I tell Miss Gerald this was something that's relatively inexpensive, that gets a ton of attention and generates a lot of energy around attendance. So we appreciate that very much. Okay. Looking over the behaviors, that'll be hard to read, but if you want to just go ahead and click to the next slide, it'll be a lot easier.
That's the only slide.
There should be the link there to the bottom right.
Oh, right here?
Yep. Sorry. So here we have McCarg is outpacing last year in a good way, I should say, underpacing. Fewer incidents this year than there were last year at this time. I think if I remember, Bell Heath is the same way. Very nice. Now, Darden is careful to explain that he takes every incident and manages it very closely. So, and I appreciate that. So if his numbers look a little skewed, that's why. And then the high school's hanging steady. So we appreciate all the hard work of our administrators and our teachers to help kids stay in line. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions about those numbers?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Back. So in the high school, in a month period, there were only 40 incidents.
That's what we are.
40.
That's what we are reporting.
Okay.
You can.
And I'm assuming you don't enter everything into Power School.
Right, and actually, Mr. Freeman and I have talked about this a little bit recently to try to maybe be on the same page. That's what gets entered in incident management. So things like tardies, when we get a cell phone that's sent to the office, we're tracking some of that on the side. It's not necessarily getting put in incident management. So we talked about how we could maybe be more consistent with that reporting. So those are some of the more minor things that maybe aren't showing up in that 40.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. For me, the numbers don't mean much if the schools are doing it differently.
Right. So I don't know what kind
Whichever
of.
side you fall on.
Yeah,
I mean,
Right.
we've had
it
that
wouldn't
conversation to
matter.
try to be more.
I don't know what
consistent
agreement
with
you
that.
guys have come up with, but you know, I'm fine with a little autonomy between schools. But again, on nights like this, it's a little bit confusing. So that's a good looking number. You're right.
Oh, it sounds great. I mean, I was a high school principal, and if I only had 40 referrals in a full month, I would feel great about it. Sure. That's why the numbers struck me as odd. But I mean, I get it. The minor things you're not putting in. So there's.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
And this year you do have the added challenge of the cell phones, so we don't,
Correct.
I guess we probably thought that was gonna impact that number, but now that I know how you're keeping that track of that, that makes sense.
Correct, and for the most part, cell phone issues don't result in a lot of consequences, because as far as that would, a kid getting detention or ISS or suspension, it's just, hey, you need to give us the phone, and either you pick it up at the end of the day, or a parent needs to pick it up, or you turn the phone into the main office. So we actually have a spreadsheet. Ms. Rutherford's helping us track that. We know when a phone comes down, okay, this is the third time it's come down, the parent needs to pick it up today. So some of those things are not reflected in that number
Sure.
40.
Yeah,
But enough cell phones would trigger.
Eventually, it's more about how the student reacts. If they're
True.
not willing to
Right.
give up the phone, or they're defiant about it in some way, then now we're not talking about the phone anymore. It's about another issue, and so
Right.
that would result in a consequence.
But I still don't think you've had a lot of those issues, correct?
Here and there, but not a ton.
Manageable. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? That's good to know. And so that's a good segue for me to talk just briefly about the fact that we will need to revisit next month. We'll need to revisit our cell phone policy. The governor's executive order has called for phones to be put away bell to bell. That's not what we're doing right now. We're allowing our kids to have their phones out at lunch. So I have a meeting scheduled, I think it's next Tuesday, with admin at both schools Dalton and the high school. We'll move from there to some teacher leadership meetings and some student leadership meetings, and we'll come up with a recommendation for you guys to consider as a regulation change next month. But spoiler alert, I don't imagine we're going to veer too far away from the governor's executive order. Okay, I am truly proud of the job that Mr. Freeman and Mr. Simpson and his teachers have done, and the kids and the families have done, to not let this cell phone issue bog us down. I don't believe it has. I don't want to speak for those folks, but I'm extremely proud of what I'm hearing from both schools.
Yeah.
So I think if we want to take it one step further, then we'll be okay with that, which is what the executive order calls for, and the research and the best practice is there, and it's not to be ignored. So we'll talk about that next month.
All right.
No capital projects to update you guys on. We will begin the concession stand renovation in the auditorium lobby in December. We'll also begin the much anticipated recovering of the auditorium seats the minute the kids get out for Christmas break. And that'll take a lot of the month of January, but Mr. Simpson and his team have made arrangements for us to be in there, swapping out seats and cushions and things like that, hardware, with the expectation that we'll be done by the end of January. So that's about a 6-week project. I think that's pretty fair. Hopefully they'll get in there and get busy and be done early. But we're excited about that.
Are you talking about concessions like at the football stadium?
No, so if you've been to a play or an event at the auditorium, they have to sort of do a
Right.
makeshift
Yes.
concession stand. So we're going to move over to what was the ticket booth, and we're going to knock that window out, and we're going to make it a serving counter with a
Okay.
cage,
Yeah.
and then that will give them extra room. It'll also be a place for some storage for concessions and other things, including late night acts that take up money that don't have any way to secure it. We plan for there to be a secure place inside that building or
That's
inside
great.
that room,
That's
so that
great.
they don't have to
Okay.
risk a night deposit.
Okay.
And that will start, are we waiting until school's out for that to start? The date's moved a couple of times, but I think we may start that early because it's not going to interrupt classes that are in the auditorium. So if you go by the auditorium lobby, don't forget we have choir in there on the 9th. If you go by there in December, mid-December, you'll see this work has begun, I hope.
Is there a band concert?
I'm sure there is a band concert.
What's
Do
the
we know
date
what
for
day?
band?
I do not have that date off the top of my head, but
Okay.
I can find it out.
Okay.
Well, let's make sure we don't clash with construction.
Yes.
And a lot of that will be inside that room. So if we can secure that, we can have events.
We're starting December 17th, and then I think you said we're starting the project on the 9th.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Great.
I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay,
So that's
good.
where both the concerts are going to be held, in the auditorium, because they have been.
We have gone to
at
Radford
RU before,
University.
haven't we? Okay.
The spring concert for the choir was at Radford University.
Right.
That I remember.
Okay.
Sometimes the winter one is too, so
I think that both of them are
at RU,
at RU.
Oh.
the
concert,
choir concerts, but band is usually at
I believe you're
our
correct.
auditorium.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Very
That
good.
is all I have.
Okey doke.
Thank you.
Any reports of board members? Does anyone have any new business to share?
Well, everybody was given, the conference is coming up this coming week, and there are some proposed changes to the organization's bylaws, which came out, and Carrie made copies for everybody. And then the association went back and redid them, so you have the latest copies where the main thing is proposed amendment number 4 on the second page, or the back of the first page. They added 3 more sections to it, which is, clarifying membership and termination of membership and renewing membership. It's much more specific than it used to be.
Okay. Is this something that we need to,
Well, we need to cast a vote
Okay.
as Radford City School Board. And I, as your delegate, need to cast that vote and would like your feedback on how to cast that vote. may need to take it and read it and think about it and communicate with me in another way rather than just deciding tonight.
Okay. So we don't need to have an official action made, you just need to,
I didn't hear you, Jenny, I'm
so you don't need to have an official action made, you just need to know if we
I
support.
need to know how you want me to
Okay,
vote.
okay.
And
if
is the
you don't
vote an
tell
all
me,
or
I'll
nothing?
vote however I want.
Oh,
Is the vote an all or nothing?
No, they will vote on each
Each,
individual
okay.
amendment. Yes.
okay, so we will get back to you individually
Yeah, it's
with
on
our,
each individual one, and in my reading of the originals and the proposed changes,
Mm-hmm.
they're mostly for clarification and changing from, dues may be reinstated, and it says, something about they'll be in good standing upon payment of, it's semantics.
Semantics.
That they're changing, not really meaning.
okay. And if anybody who is listening along has interest in, diving into this, I'm sure they can find it on the VSBA website.
It's on the VSBA, and the current, handbook thing for the conference is up.
Is
That's how I
available.
found it and went,
Okay.
oh, that doesn't look like what
Okay.
we looked at originally.
I will say that the original ones are still posted on the website.
Okay.
And what we can do is, post the adjustment, and we can replace them or add them to that
Okay.
document.
Okay. All right, thank you for bringing that up. And I just wanted to share, we've got night school going on for students who need some extra support. So that's going on at the high school, I believe? Just
Yes,
at the high
ma'am.
school?
At the bridge? Is it at the bridge?
No, it's inside in the classroom.
Okay, and
Inside
that
in the classroom.
also offers a great opportunity for kids who've missed school for whatever reason to make a lot of those days up.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, if it's a lot, but a lot of them, if it's not many.
So that's a great opportunity to get some support and some classwork in before, the end of the semester, and get on track. So that's great. We've got the seniors, or have a lot of going on with getting ready for all the graduation things. The senior ads are due on November 18th, so please, if you're going to put an ad in the yearbook, go ahead and find those emails that should be in your inbox to be able to get on the platform to get some pictures and well wishes updated. We also have Thanksgiving baskets that are going to be going out at McCarg and Bell Heath. And so those are going to go home with families on the 21st and 22nd of November. So if they're, I think it's the end of this week, Ms. Webb at Bell Heath needs to know if families are in need. If there's any folks who want to donate food towards these baskets, there's opportunities to do that. The baskets cost about $30 each. So if you'd rather contribute $30 to Miss Webb there at Bell Heath, she can go and purchase the food as she needs. And there's also the list of all the foods that are going into the baskets are available if you want to go with your family and put together
Put the basket.
a basket together yourself. So there's opportunities to do that either way. And that's all I have. Anyone else have?
Jenny,
Yeah.
one more thing. Yesterday, Gloria and Dr. Joyce and I were in attendance at the Veterans Day celebration at New River Community College. And our choir blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, they did such a good job. They just really did.
That's great. Thank you to Mr. Goad for
Yes.
directing
Oh,
those
yes,
students.
yes. And the accompanists, and,
Mhm.
I mean, they did a wonderful job.
That's great.
I mean,
Thank you.
it gave me chills. It really was.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I got chills for two reasons. One was it sounded so well, and two were there our kids.
Yeah.
Our
Yes, true.
program, our kids, our director, it just made us really proud. And I was approached afterwards by several members of the audience to comment on what a good job they did.
Really was.
Don Stowers was the guest speaker. He did a remarkable job. He has quite a illustrious, honorable past. So
Excellent.
it was a really neat program.
Was.
Very good.
Madam Chair, if I can. Couple things. One, adding on to what Emery had pointed out earlier. Wow. You know, our Bobcats, when they step up, man, they just really dominate. The band this year, you guys know I got a soft spot in my heart for them. They are academic and performing athletes in every measure. I don't want to take too much time with the specifics, but let's just say that every competition they went to, they took the first place in almost every category. So what a phenomenal way to celebrate. They really did, you know, on top of being there to support our Bobcat football team and the cheerleaders on Friday nights, they rolled out early on Saturdays, loaded everything up. So, you know, God bless the Bobcat Band family for showing up in droves and loading those trucks and the cars and everything else, getting them out to the competitions. And they really did our city proud, because every single competition they went to, they came back with a carload of trophies. And we should all be proud of that. Also, speaking of our friends over at NRCC, we do finally have the official announcement that we have a selected president there to come behind Dr. Huber. We have Dr. Robert Brandon, so we're excited about that. A lot of great candidates. Dr. Joyce, I know you had an opportunity to speak to or hear from all of them. Great opportunity. I'm very excited about what's in our future for our joint work there between Radford and New River. I have every faith and knowledge in the fact we're going to continue that wonderful partnership and even take it further, because I know
He's already reached out.
yeah, he's very, very motivated. He's very directed. He actually has experience in the Tennessee area with working with the local, you know, schools.
Good.
In order to develop that in great ways. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope we all are. Bit of information, because part of what we do on the board is get info whenever our district requires it. The winter band concert is actually going to be December 17th.
Okay.
So no conflict there. It pays to know people. So, you know, Mr. Frankenberger, thank you, sir. Appreciate the quick response. So definitely something to look forward to. Put it on your calendars. We got the 9th for the winter choir concert, the 17th for the winter band concert. You can't go wrong with it. If you haven't been to those concerts, please do come out. Just like with Veterans Day, our students, they'll bring a tear to your eye and a joy to your heart. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
Very good.
Danny, I got one more thing. The committee that's working on the Governor's School for the Arts at RU will be meeting on Monday, December the 2nd, doing the final revisions on the proposal that will be submitted to Richmond. So
Excellent.
things are moving along. There's nothing to officially announce.
Okay.
It's just the work behind the scenes.
Good deal. Speaking of Governor's School, there's a Governor's School meeting for our Math and Science Governor's School in December, and I'm no longer sitting chair there. They have a new chair from Pulaski County, and so somebody will need to, you know, step in as the Radford representative on that board. Y'all can think about that. You're welcome to go with me to the December meeting, and
When is that meeting again?
I will have to look that up and get back to you.
I mean, I would consider doing that. I
Okay.
don't know when you would need to know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It just never is fine.
Okay.
But things are going well at the Governor's School, and the students are about to start on all their science fair projects, so it's exciting times. About to have finals, and then science fair is really in full swing.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anything else?
Same thing for virtual school.
Yeah,
We'll
virtual.
appoint a new representative.
Yeah, so in January, I'll have us a chart with who is serving. So maybe I can bring it out in December and show who is serving in what capacity, and then who will need to be replaced. And then in January, maybe with the 2 new board members, we can make those decisions, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves to see who fits best where.
And by our December meeting, we'll know who the new school board members are for sure. It'll be tomorrow evening that'll be finalized, and
That's my understanding.
we thank everybody so much, everyone who ran, everyone who supported those who ran. You know, it's not easy to run, it's not easy to serve, and we appreciate everybody for putting in the effort to volunteer to do this. All right, do we have any action items for this evening?
We do not.
We do not. We need a closed meeting.
Madam Chair, I move that the board convene into closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 to discuss the appointment, resignation, and retirement of employees of the school board, as well as admission of students.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, we're in closed. Thanks so much. righty. I need you ready for us? Need a motion to convene in regular session, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a certification of our closed meeting, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to certify closed session for reason number 1 and reason number 2.
Motion, I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, do I have a motion to approve personnel matters 1.0? Do
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, and we have tuition student. Do I have a motion to approve the tuition report?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and the date for our next regular board meeting is moved to December 12th, 2024, still at 6 p.m. here at the School Administration Building. And that is all. We are adjourned. Thank you.